"Are you lost, sweetheart?" Charlotte asked. But it was more of a reflex. Truth was, she was the lost one, stuck on the sidelines again, watching the able-bodied twirl. This damn wheelchair. The little girl nodded, eyes huge. "I cannot find my daddy." A simple problem, right? Wrong. Because Charlotte saw the predatory glint in the eyes of the wedding planner nearby, the barely veiled contempt. They all thought she was fragile, someone to be managed. They had no idea she'd built an empire from scraps, that she knew how to fight. But that planner, he saw an easy mark, a chance to shine. What he didn't see was the quiet fire in Charlotte's eyes, the protective instinct kicking in. And he certainly couldn't imagine how her kindness would unravel his carefully laid plans. This wasn't just about a lost kid anymore. This was about dignity, survival. This was about to get interesting. The spinal cord injury from a skiing accident 3 years ago had changed many practical aspects of her life. But her sharp business mind and natural elegance remained unchanged. What had changed was her comfort with large social gatherings. Charlotte had discovered that many people either stared awkwardly or avoided eye contact entirely when they encountered her wheelchair. And the exhaustion of managing other people's discomfort had made her increasingly selective about social events. This wedding was different because it was for her college roommate, Jessica, someone who had remained genuinely supportive. Through Charlotte's recovery and rehabilitation, Charlotte wanted to celebrate her friend's happiness, even if it meant enduring the uncomfortable dynamics that often accompanied formal events. Charlotte had positioned herself at a table near the edge of the ballroom where she could observe the festivities while maintaining easy access to exits. If the evening became overwhelming, she watched other guests dancing and mingling, feeling the familiar isolation that came with being visibly different in elegant social settings. That was when she noticed the little girl. The child appeared to be about 4 years old, wearing a purple dress and clutching a small stuffed animal. She was standing near Charlotte's table, apparently separated from her family in the crowded reception space. "Are you lost, sweetheart?" Charlotte asked gently, noting the child's uncertain expression. The little girl nodded. "I cannot find my daddy," she said, with a matter-of-fact tone. The children used to describe problems they expected adults to solve. "What does your daddy look like?" Charlotte asked, scanning the ballroom for anyone who might be searching for a missing child. "He is very tall and has dark hair," the little girl replied. "And he wears the same suit as all the other daddies here." Charlotte smiled at this description that could apply to half the men at the wedding. "Well, why do not we look for him together? My name is Charlotte. What is yours?" "Lily," the child replied, apparently deciding that Charlotte was trustworthy. "And my daddy is the best daddy in the whole world." Before Charlotte could respond, a man appeared at their table with the relieved expression of a parent who had been searching frantically. "Lily, there you are," he said, kneeling down to her level. "I was looking everywhere for you, Daddy. This is Charlotte," Lily announced proudly. "She was helping me find you because I got lost." The man looked up at Charlotte with gratitude that seemed entirely focused on her kindness rather than her wheelchair. "Thank you so much for staying with her," he said. "I am Michael Torres, and I cannot tell you how grateful I am." Charlotte found herself studying Michael's face, noting the genuine warmth in his expression and the complete absence of the awkward discomfort she had learned to expect. "I am Charlotte Ashford," she replied. "It was my pleasure. Lily is delightful company." Michael appeared to be in his mid-30s with the kind of natural confidence that made his formal attire look comfortable rather than stiff. More importantly, he was looking directly at Charlotte's face while speaking to her, engaging with her as he would any other person. As they talked, Charlotte learned that Michael was attending the wedding alone with Lily after his babysitter had canceled at the last minute. He worked as a pediatric nurse at Children's Hospital, which explained his natural ease with children and his obviously patient parenting style. "I hope you do not mind me saying," Michael said as Lily settled into the chair beside Charlotte, "but you handled that situation with Lily perfectly. Many people would have just directed her to find a wedding coordinator or security." Charlotte felt something warm in her chest at his recognition. "Most people assume children and wheelchairs do not mix well together," she admitted. "But I have always enjoyed talking with kids. They see the world so clearly." Michael nodded with understanding. "In my work, I see how naturally children adapt to different situations. Adults often struggle more with things that kids accept easily. As the evening progressed, Charlotte found herself drawn into conversation with both Michael and Lily. The little girl was charming and curious, asking thoughtful questions about Charlotte's wheelchair, with the direct interest that seemed natural to her age. "Can I push you to the dance floor?" Lily asked with sudden inspiration. "I think you and Daddy should dance together." Michelle's cheeks flushed slightly. "Lily, not everyone likes to dance," he said gently. "Actually," Charlotte said with surprise at her own boldness, "I would love to dance. I have not danced since my accident, but I have been curious about whether it was possible." Michael's face lit up with understanding. "I think we could figure it out together, if you are willing to experiment." What followed was unlike any dance Charlotte had ever experienced. Michael adapted naturally to her wheelchair, creating movements that felt graceful and joyful rather than awkward or forced. Lily appointed herself their dance instructor, offering enthusiastic guidance from the sidelines. For the first time since her accident, Charlotte felt genuinely included in a social celebration rather than just tolerated. Other wedding guests watched with obvious admiration rather than pity, and Charlotte realized that Michael's easy acceptance had somehow transformed the entire dynamic. As the evening wound down, Michael approached Charlotte with obvious nervousness. "Charlotte," he said, "I know this might seem forward, but would you be interested in having dinner with me sometime? Not as a thank you for helping Lily, but because I have genuinely enjoyed talking with you tonight." Charlotte looked at this man who had somehow made her feel desirable and interesting rather than inspiring or tragic. "I would like that very much," she said. The relationship that developed over the following months surprised Charlotte with its naturalness. Michael proved to be thoughtful, intelligent, and remarkably skilled at seeing past her wheelchair to the woman she remained. His work in pediatric medicine had taught him that strength came in many forms, and he valued Charlotte's business acumen as much as her grace under pressure. More importantly, Michael and Lily both included Charlotte in their daily routines, with the kind of easy acceptance that made her feel like family rather than a girlfriend who happened to use a wheelchair. When Michael finally told Charlotte he loved her, it was after 8 months of building genuine trust and partnership. "I fell in love with your intelligence, your kindness, and your strength," he said as they sat together in the accessible garden Charlotte had created at her home. "You using a wheelchair is just one detail about you, not the defining characteristic." Charlotte looked at this man who had seen her as a complete person from their first meeting at a wedding where she had expected to feel invisible. "I love you too," she said, "and I love how you and Lily have shown me that my life is not limited by other people's expectations." They married 2 years later in the same ballroom where they had first danced together, with Lily serving as flower girl and Charlotte wearing a custom dress designed to look stunning whether she was seated or standing at their reception. As Charlotte and Michael danced while Lily spun nearby in her own purple dress, Charlotte marveled at how a lost child had led her to find exactly the love she had stopped believing was possible. Sometimes the most beautiful connections happen when we stop hiding from situations that make us feel vulnerable and allow others to see us exactly as we are, trusting that the right people will recognize our worth regardless of circumstances. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring tales of unexpected love and the power of authentic acceptance.